let's solve the system of equations. In this case, two linear equations. So geometrically, this would be looking at two lines and trying to see where they intersect in the plane. So, to approach this process, I'm going to do something very mechanical so you can mimic it when you're trying it on your own. And I'm going to always eliminate the y variable and leave me only with an x. If you want to see some other methods, ask me in class and we can do this in other ways. So to that end, we're going to call this elimination because effectively we're going to eliminate one of the variables by multiplying the top and the bottom by some appropriate number. The appropriate number is going to be the one that's going to cause elimination to the second variable. So my choice is to multiply the top equation by the 7 that I see down here. Notice that 7 times negative 5 is negative 35x. 7 times 3 is 21, so I get a 21y. And then 7 times negative 17 would be negative 119. 70 and 49. Okay, second equation. Both of these are positive, so I'm going to multiply this time by the number negative 3. Negative 3. Watch what happens. Negative 3 times negative 8x would be 24x. Negative 3 times plus or a positive 7y would be negative 21y. So over here I would be subtracting 21y. And then 3 times 14 is 42, and negative times negative is positive, so we're going to get a positive 42. Now notice that in the second column, the y's are the same quantity except they have opposite signs. One is positive and one is negative. So if we were to simply add the equations together, left sides and right sides, we would get some enemies here, and the negative number wins by 11, so we're looking at a negative 11x. And then on the right hand side we would have also a negative winning, and that one looks like they're winning by negative 77. So divide by negative 11 and x equals 7. Now this does not complete the problem with systems of equations. Two variables, we have two things we need to find. We have to go find the y variable. We can take that x equals 7 we found and replace it into technically either of the equations that we want, even the manipulated equations over on the right hand side. I'm going to choose the top because the numbers are a little bit smaller. So I get negative 5x, but x was 7 like we figured out, plus 3y equals negative 17. Negative 5 times 7 is negative 35, plus 3y equals negative 17. And if you add 35 to both sides, you would cancel on the left, and on the right you would be left with positive 18. And all I'm doing there is adding 35 to both sides. And then finally, dividing by 3 would give us y equals 6. So the two answers are the x-coordinate would be 7, and the y-coordinate would be 6. Okay, with that, why don't you try this one on your own? And assuming you gave it a good shot here, let's try to do it together. So in the top equation, we will multiply by the number 8. 8 times negative 4x is negative 32x. 8 times 5y is 40y, but it's being subtracted, so we have a minus 40y. And then 8 times 8 is 64. Okay, did you catch this little thing? On the second equation, I don't need to multiply by a negative this time. I'm just going to multiply by 5. Notice you'll get 5 times 3 being a 15x, 5 times 8 being a 40x, and this time it's being added, and then 5 times negative 6 being negative 30. So therefore, we would be able to now add the equations together and notice that the 40y and the minus 40y will cancel with each other. So negative 32 and 15 is going to leave us with negative 17x on the left, and 64 minus 30 will leave us with 34 on the right. Dividing by negative 17 is going to leave us with x equals 2. Halfway there, I'm going to choose to plug into the bottom equation this time. Even though the number is 8 is larger than 5, it is going to have positives, and so positives are just generally easier to work with. So 3 times 2, whoops, 34 divided by negative 17 was negative 2. I forgot my negative sign there. 34 divided by a positive number divided by negative number is negative. So we have 3 times negative 2 plus the 8 times y equals negative 6. Negative 6 plus 8y equals negative 6. Adding 6 to both sides, 8y equals 0. And then finally dividing by 8 yields y equals 0. So we get a solution here of x is equal to negative 2 and y is equal to 0. X equals negative 2, y equals 0.